Living in Spain has changed how she views America. Now, today we have a video of a young lady who apparently is American and she lives in Spain. I, as well, used to live in Spain several years ago, so I'm going to give my experience after she talks about her experience. This is my first time viewing the video, so I'm viewing it with y'all. I don't want to waste any time. We're going to get straight to it. Let's review this video together.
The US would feel familiar, but instead I feel like a foreigner in my own country. And that's when I realized living in Spain changed me more than I thought. What's up, travelers and future expats? Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Britt, an American who's been living in Spain for the past 6 years. I'm currently in the States celebrating the holiday season with my family, and today we're diving deep into all of the reverse culture shocks I've been noticing. We're talking about the weird, the frustrating, and even the surprisingly nice. Let's dive right in. The first reverse culture shock we're getting into is all about the American politeness and friendliness. In my opinion, I think service is generally a lot friendlier in the States than it is in Spain and a lot of Europe. So some people might credit if you're nice as a service worker that you're only doing it for tips, which I do agree with because it is part of your job, but I'm also talking about people being approachable and friendly like in general. So with my experience, I do think Americans come off way nicer than a lot of Spanish people I've tried to meet and get to know. And the reason for this, I don't really think it's American fake niceness. I think Americans are a bit more open to diversity and a bit more open to meeting different people. And of course, I'm not trying to generalize here. I'm just talking from my experience. But I did want to mention that this is something that foreign friends that I've made in Spain have also had a big problem with. So I think there's a common theme that it is a bit tricky to get into a Spanish friend group as a foreigner. And also, notice how I said friend group. I didn't say that it was impossible to befriend a Spanish person. I noticed you could definitely befriend Spanish people, but it might be a bit rare for them to bring you into their Spanish, childhood friend group. And if they do introduce you to their childhood Spanish friend group, then you're definitely getting lucky, and that's most likely going to be a bestie for life. Yay! And the next reverse culture.
Yeah, before she goes into the next topic, I want to discuss this first because it sounds like she has several topics. And it's funny because, like I said, it's my first time viewing this video. You can go support her. Her name is American in Spain. She is a content creator as well. A lot of the points she addressed, I addressed in my video. So I'm actually going to link down below my video talking about more specifically being black in Spain. But she is true when it comes to the friendship. It's hard to get into a friend group or sometimes even to make friends. She said making friends is easy. You can kind of hang out with them, but to actually make a friend in Spain is difficult. But the thing is, once you crack open that, you're good. They're going to introduce you to their sister, their mom, their best friend, their cousin, their neighbor. It's like a network. So you just got to get in that network. And then once you're in. And now you got all these connections. So it's powerful. So in a way, I respect that because they make you earn it. And then once you earn it, hey, so many benefits are going to come from that. I truly love and respect that. Another thing I wanted to address when she talked about the American fake niceness, that is a stereotype. A lot of people will come to America. They'll be like, oh, they're so nice. And they think they're always like that. It's kind of like a warm introduction, you could say. So I'm not saying Americans are necessarily mean. I'm just saying I can understand the perspective of someone on the other side. Because when I came to Spain, I was like, what's going on? Do they not like me or whatever? It took me a while to realize, no. Even the Spanish teachers would tell me, hey, when you go to talk to them, it's kind of like a direct thing. When you walk inside a store, they're not going to be like, hey, how are you, necessarily. They may say hi or buenas, whatever. Quick little introduction. But it's when you go talk to them, no, you don't do the general banner when you're in a store. It's hey, what do you need? I want this shoe in size 10, etc. It's nothing disrespectful towards them. It's just a different culture. And I kind of disagree with what she said about the whole Europe being like that, because I noticed it in Spain, but I don't believe the entire Europe is like that. But hey, I've only been to 4 European countries. But let's go listen to her.
Culture shock I'm having while visiting the US is all about dog etiquette and clean sidewalks. So in the States, most people clean up after their dogs. There's actually a lot of signs all over the towns to clean up after the dog.
That's
and
a fact.
If you don't, that it can contaminate the water and stuff like that. So I feel like it's really frowned upon to leave dog poop. And in Spain, of course, there are signs and there are fines if you don't clean up the dog poop, but I don't really feel like it's enforced. And I feel like there are certain neighborhoods in Spain, specifically in Madrid, that there is just a ton of dog poop on the ground. And that to me is just a big no-no. I think it's very uncivilized. But to be honest, I have noticed that it's not just a Spain problem, because I have noticed a lot of dog poop in a lot of parts of Europe, such as Germany, Italy, and even France. Since it does
France?
happen in other countries in Europe, I do think maybe it's a cultural thing. I'm not really sure. I've tried to get to the bottom of why people just leave the dog poop on the sidewalk, and I haven't really been able to find out much except for some people think that the street cleaners are going to wash it away. I've heard that theory once, but outside of that, I haven't really heard much. So if you do happen to know anything, I would love to know your 2 cents in the comments. And the next maybe.
Quick thing to address that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I heard that theory as well. My Spanish friends, I'm not saying it's right, but sometimes they leave stuff on the ground and they said that's how they keep those workers employed, allegedly.
Major reverse culture shock I'm experiencing while visiting the US has to do so much with car culture, and I feel like this is a major lifestyle frustration I have every time I come visit here because I feel like nothing is in walking distance. You need a car to get everywhere and anywhere, and that's absolutely bizarre. It's such a trap for people to consume more and to buy a car, and that I think is like almost uncomparable to living in Spain, because in Spain, especially in a big city in Spain, you do not need a car at all, and having a car there is almost looked at as like a luxury. So to give you context, I am currently about half a mile from the closest supermarket. That's about a 13-minute walk. The next closest supermarket from there would be a mile and a mile point three, which would be 27-minute walk. And then after that, we're looking at 1.8 miles, and that's a 42-minute walk. So those are the three closest supermarkets from where I am right now. I also want to add that those distances aren't anything bizarre, but it is quite cold here. It's actually 27 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. Feels like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and in Celsius, it's -3, and it feels like -7. So I don't know about you, but I definitely do not want to be walking to any supermarket right now in this weather. That's also a really big change from what I was used to living in Spain. I literally had like 5 supermarkets outside my door when I was living in Madrid. It was like a block or 2 blocks away. And then when I was living in Tenerife, that wasn't even a block away. It was literally like, I would say maybe 10 steps away from my house. So super duper duper convenient and excellent urban planning. I love the urban planning in Spain and a lot of European countries. And I think the US definitely needs to learn from that. And the last thing that.
All right, she's about to get into the last point, but I wanted to address her previous points. I'd rather do it point by point than instead of doing all the points at one point at the end. I want to make it more concise. The car culture is a big thing. Unfortunately, in the States, there's not many cities that are considered walkable. There's parts of New York that are like that, San Francisco, D.C., Boston. But I think that's about it. Like everywhere else in the States, you probably need a car. It's going to be hard to get around. And I think that's why the people are so healthier out there. When I was walking out there, you don't see that many people with acne on their face. You don't see that many like severely overweight people. Like they are more on point. They seem healthier, younger, more vibrant. And when I lived there, I lived with a Spanish family, and the one who was like, I guess you could say the mother figure, the Spanish mom I lived with, every day she would walk to the mercado and get fresh bread. And the bread is actually fresh over there. It's not like this loaf of bread we buy in the States where it's processed and smells funny. No, they eat bread with like almost every meal or every other meal. And it's a fresh roll of bread. And they actually just walk every day. Because, I mean, if it's a 2-minute walk, a 5-minute walk, a 10-minute walk, who cares? They look at it like, yeah, having a car is kind of a waste if you're only just going to walk a few minutes, where in America, we probably drive even if it was right there. That's how lazy we are. But they look at it like it's only a few minutes away. And then also at the same time, they want the freshest. So they use it on a regular basis, which consumes it. But if they just walk right here to the nearest supermarket, to the nearest bakery, to the nearest store, they're going to get some freshly made bread, or pan, as they call it. For those who don't know, my name is PayMeInPaella. I make a lot of content like this. Make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, and hype. Actually, if you look at the last part of my name, paella, it comes from the Spanish dish. I got a buddy right now in Spain. I'm looking at his stories, all that type of stuff. He's definitely enjoying himself. But I lived there for 6 months for a school program. It was truly amazing. I got a video about it. Maybe I'll make more videos depending on how people feel. Like if you want some more videos like that, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get to it and talk about my experience more specifically. Since then, I've been back like 3 times to Spain because it's amazing. But let's hear what this young lady has to say some more, shall we?
That I want to say about car culture is that there are a lack of sidewalks in some areas, and the only thing that I find the most bizarre is that the lack of sidewalks are in some areas where It's a school area. Luckily, there are crossing guards that get the students and the kids to and from the school, but I just think it's weird that there's no sidewalks in a lot of areas. I've definitely tried to go
Yeah.
on some hikes here and I've been humbled real quick. So I don't know why the sidewalk infrastructure needs to get better in New Jersey. And the next reverse culture shock is all about consumption. So I feel like every time I visit the States, everywhere I look, there's a sale and it's so much pressure to buy this or buy that. Even if I'm just out trying to run errands, I feel like I'm being sold to nonstop. The last thing that I want to say about consumption is about tipping. I feel like tipping has gotten out of hand in the US, and I feel like it's very strange when I go to buy a water bottle or maybe like a Gatorade or a juice and then I'm expected to tip. Why would I tip you for handing me over a drink that I paid for? And I feel like with the tipping getting so out of hand, I feel like it makes you realize that a lot of companies don't want to go for fair wages with their workers. They rather just try to squeeze extra money out of their customer. And the next reverse culture shock that I'm sure everyone knows by now because it's not a secret is the cost of living. I'm not sure why, but everything is so expensive in the States right now. We're talking groceries, gas, don't even get me started on rent. That's absolutely ludicrous right now. And it
Man.
seems like prices keep going up versus going down, which is very concerning. I don't know if you feel this too, but I feel like life in the States comes with a fee attached. For example, in Spain, I'd go to the store, pick up basics, and it didn't feel like I was getting money every time. Here, it's shocking. Healthcare costs right now are through the roof. Healthcare insurance premiums keep going up, and that means more money out of your pocket just for health insurance. And this is where I think it's not just the money, it's the stress that comes with knowing a single
Yeah.
bill could wreck your whole month. And lastly, for healthy food, expect to pay a premium. If you're buying cheaper food, it might be a lot more processed. After living in Spain, these costs hit harder because you start noticing the contrast in how life can feel lighter when money isn't constantly pressing on you. One thing
Yeah.
that really hit me coming back to the US is how many people live to work versus work to live. I also feel like there's a very big toxic rat race in America, so it's like I want to get the bigger, better job than you, and Americans are very competitive, and sometimes it seems like Americans are comparing lives as a competition.
That is a fact. Once again, you can go support her. Her name is American in Spain. I love the way she speaks. It's funny. I seem to be drawn towards like people from the Midwest and people from Jersey for some reason. Like I kind of felt she had that vibe when she started talking. Then she's confirmed that she is in Jersey. So shout out to her. A few things I wanted to address. It's funny because she said this is the last point, and then she's like, "This is the last point." So I thought that was funny. So no shade to her, but it was funny how that was worded there. But hey, sometimes when you talk about something so exciting, you want to keep going. So I want to address those last few points she made as far as the tipping culture. First, yes, the tipping culture is getting crazy. It's now in America. For all my Europeans, when you come to America, there's certain places you go to, and it'll be a forced gratuity. So you don't even get the option. They're just mandatory added on. Like, hey, you have to pay at least X% when you come here. So watch out for that. And yes, now they are asking for tipping at random places. Like it won't even be food related. It'll be like a service stop or maybe even something medical. And they expect more. So I think back in the day when I was a kid, I thought they said like a good tipping percentage was like 7 or 10% or something like that. Then it went up to 15. Now I think it's like considered 20 or 25%. So yes, there is a lot of tipping, even in places you may not expecting, and it's continued to increase. And she is right about health insurance being higher in America, right? I mean, I remember going to the doctor in a foreign country and it was like $20, right? Super cheap when you go to a lot of these countries. And what's crazy is, as Americans, we have some of the highest paying health insurance. We promote consumerism, but our top 5 deaths in America are all health related. So what does that tell you? I low key kind of feel like it's a scam. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but something is not adding up. The top 5 deaths in America are all health related, and we allegedly are the best, as some people may say. So I think that's kind of funny. And you'll see that Spain is actually rated extremely high when it comes to healthy consumption of food. The food is very good over there. When I went over there, I had more energy. My hair was longer. I had clearer skin. I could think better, less brain fog. They are eating actual food. They do have processed food over there, but not like America. America, over 85% of the food is processed. So when you think you're eating healthy, you may not be eating as healthy as you think. You go over to Greece, you go over to Spain, Italy, France, something like that, you'll see the difference in the taste, but also the quality. I've been to 17, 18 countries, and I tell people Spain is number 2 when it comes to taste for me. As far as healthiness, it might be number 1, but taste is number 2. The last thing I wanted to address, she is correct when she talks about consumerism. It's promoted everywhere. And once again, I don't want to go too deep into the conspiracy theories, but there's only 2 or 3 countries in the world that can actively promote medicine or solicit medicine, I should say, on TV. So when you're watching TV in America or you're watching YouTube on America and they come up with an allergy medicine, a headache medicine, Ozempic, whatever they come up with, any type of medicine, there's only like 3 countries in the world who are legally allowed to do that. No other country tries to sell you medicine on a commercial. Everything's consumerism. Even the way the cars are done, that was started in America. There's a guy named Edward Bernays. You can Google this. He came up with this. He said, how can we create a larger scale consumerism in America? I know. We can create a new car model every year. So he got with the car makers and they said, we're going to make a new car model. So like you see how it says Honda Accord 2023, Honda Accord 2024, 2025, Toyota Camry. Every year they come out with a new model that was done on purpose. But this is how great this guy is when it comes to market manipulation and in creating consumerism. He also designed the American breakfast over 100 years ago. So here we are eating turkey, bacon, whatever, eggs for breakfast. He's the one who came up with the idea we need to push more meat, more bacon, etc. for breakfast. This guy is very good. But what's crazy is he's related to Sigmund Freud and he's related to the founder of Netflix. Everything I said, you can Google and you'll see that it's 100% fact. But I don't want to go too deep into conspiracy theories and all that, you know. But yeah, shout out to her. She made some great content. Everybody make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. I got more content coming to you. Happy weekend. Enjoy your weekend. You know, it's July. Happy 4th of July if you're in America. And then I saw another country celebrated independence. I can't remember the other country. Oh, it's escaping me. It was somewhere. I think Canada had theirs like a week ago. Shout out to Canada. I got family in Canada. Shout out to Garbins Young. He watches me in Canada. I got a few other subscribers in Canada from Toronto, Manitoba, and BC, I believe. So shout out to y'all. Anyone else I left out, I love y'all. I appreciate all the support I've been getting. Peace.